Hello, Kinderguppies. It's Mr. McComb once again, and I've got a very funny book to share with you. It's called David's Father, and it's written by one of my favorite authors, Robert Munsch. This book is all about a papa. And did you know that Father's Day is just around the corner, and we should start thinking about our daddies? Well, this book shows us one boy's father, and this father is a little bit different. But do we all have papas that are the same? Goodness, no. Everybody's daddy is different. And that's okay, right, Kinderguppies? Everybody's different. Everybody's awesome. And that goes for daddies, too. Well, are you ready to hear this story? That's good, because here we go. One day, Julie was skipping home from school, happy as can be. She came to a large moving van. A man came out carrying a spoon, only it was as big as a shovel. Another man came out carrying a fork, only it was as big as a pitchfork. A third man came out carrying a knife, only it was as big as a flagpole. "Yikes!" said Julie. "I don't want to get to know these new people at all." She ran all the way home and hid under her bed until it was time for supper. The next day, Julie was once again skipping home from school, happy as can be. And right there, a boy was standing where the moving van had been the day before. He said, "Hi, my name's David. Would you like to come and play with me?" Julie looked at him very carefully. He seemed to be a regular sort of boy, so she said yes, and she stayed to play. At 5 o'clock, from far away down the street, someone called, "Julie, come home and eat supper." "Oh, that's my mama," said Julie. Then somebody called, "David!" "Oh, that's my father," said David. Julie jumped up in the air, ran around in a circle 3 times, and ran home. She locked herself in her room until it was time for breakfast the next morning. That was such a scary voice, she thought. The next day, Julie was skipping home from school again, and she saw David. He said, "Hi, Julie. Do you want to come and play with me?" Julie looked at him very, very carefully. He seemed to be a regular sort of boy, so she stayed and played. When it was almost 5 o'clock, David said, "Julie, do you want to come to my house for supper?" But Julie remembered the giant knife, the humongous fork, and the giant spoon. "Well, I don't know," she said. Maybe it's a bad idea. I think maybe no. Goodbye, 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 goodbye." "Well," said David, "we're having cheeseburgers, chocolate milkshakes, and a salad." "Oh," said Julie, "I love cheeseburgers. I changed my mind. I'll stay. I'll stay." So they went into David's kitchen. There was a small table with cheeseburgers, milkshakes, and salads. On the other side of the room there was an enormous table, and on it there was a spoon as big as a shovel, and a fork as big as a pitchfork, and a knife as big as a flagpole. "David," whispered Julie, "who sits there?" "Oh," said David, "that's where my daddy sits. You can hear him coming down the hall now." David's father sounded like this: "Boom, boom, boom, boom." Then the kitchen door opened, and David's father was standing there. He was a giant. On his table there were 26 snails, 3 fried octopuses, and 16 red bricks covered with chocolate sauce. David and Julie ate their cheeseburgers, and the father ate the snails. David and Julie drank their milkshakes, and the father ate his fried octopuses. David and Julie ate their salads, and the father ate his chocolate-covered bricks. David's papa asked Julie if she would like to try a snail. Julie said no. Then David's papa asked Julie if she would like to try an octopus. Julie shook her head no. Then David's papa asked Julie if she would like to try a delicious chocolate-covered brick. Julie said very politely, "No, sir, but please could I have another milkshake?" So David's father made her another milkshake. When they were done eating supper, Julie said, very softly so the papa wouldn't hear, "David, you don't look very much like your father." "Oh, I'm adopted," said David. "Oh," said Julie. "Well, do you love your papa?" "Oh, he's great," said David. "Come for a walk with us and you'll see." So they walked down the street. Julie and David skipped along, and David's father went like this, boom, 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 boom. They came to a road, and they couldn't get across. It was so busy. The cars would not stop for David. The cars would not stop for Julie. So David's father walked into the middle of the road, looked down at the cars, and yelled, "Stop!" The cars all jumped up into the air, ran around in a circle 3 times, and went back up the street so fast that they forgot their tires behind them. So Julie and David crossed the street and went into a store. The man who ran the store didn't like helping little kids. They waited 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then 15 minutes. Finally, David's father came in. He looked down at the storekeeper and he said, "These kids are my friends!" The man jumped up into the air, ran around his store 3 times, and gave David and Julie 3 boxes of ice cream, 11 bags of potato chips, and 19 lifesavers, all for free. Julie and David walked down the street and went around the corner. Just there were 6 big kids from grade 8 standing in the middle of the sidewalk. They looked at David, they looked at Julie, and then they looked at all the food. Then one of the big bully kids reached down and grabbed a box of ice cream. David's father came around the corner. He saw it. He looked at the big kids and he yelled, "Beat it!" Those big bad bully kids jumped right out of their shirts. They jumped right out of their pants and they ran down the street in their underwear all the way home. Julie ran after them, but then she slipped and scraped her elbow on the road. David's daddy picked Julie up and held her. Then he put a special giant band-aid on her elbow. Julie said, "Well, David, you do have a very nice papa after all, even if he is a little bit scary sometimes." "You think my dad is scary?" said David. "Just wait until you meet my grandma." Well, Kinderguppies, here we are again at the end of another funny book. I sure did enjoy learning all about David's papa and how amazingly helpful he was. It doesn't matter if he's a great big giant. He can still be a wonderful upstander. Is your papa a lovely upstander as well? This book was written when Mr. Macomb was a little baby. I wasn't even 1 year old yet. I've been reading this book ever since I was a little kid, and I sure loved it. I hope you loved it as well. And remember, Mr. Macomb will talk to you all later.